In the bustling heart of Manhattan, the air crackled with anticipation. Saturday Night Live was about to take a bold step into the political arena with a skit that was bound to ruffle feathers. The guest of the night, Tom Hanks, a beloved American actor known for his versatile roles and everyman charm, was preparing backstage, running through his lines with an unusual nervousness gripping him. The script in his hand was a daring parody, where he would impersonate a caricatured, over-the-top version of a MAGA supporter. The audience, a mix of young and old, liberals and conservatives, was buzzing with excitement, unaware of the controversial turn the night was about to take. As the lights dimmed, Hanks took to the stage, his costume loud and flamboyant, his face painted with exaggerated, almost cartoonish patriotism. Back in New Hampshire, Karoline Leavitt, a young and fiery MAGA supporter, watched the live broadcast. Karoline, with her sharp political ambitions and a keen sense for moments that could be twisted to her advantage, sensed an opportunity. As Hanks's performance unfolded, mimicking and mocking the MAGA ethos, her fingers itched to respond. She began to draft what would soon become a viral takedown. Tom Hanks, in his performance, spared no effort in satirizing the extremes of MAGA rhetoric, his acting prowess shining through. The audience roared with laughter, the skit seeming to hit the mark for many. But for others, it was a step too far, a disrespectful caricature that felt more like a personal attack than a political satire. As the show wrapped up, the digital sphere was already alight with reactions. Clips from the skit spread like wildfire, polarizing viewers across the nation. While some praised Hanks for his boldness, others condemned the portrayal, calling it insensitive and divisive. Karoline Leavitt, seizing the moment, posted her reaction. It was a well-crafted mix of indignation and political rhetoric, accusing Hanks and SNL of elitism and disconnect from the real America. Her post was sharp, concise, and tapped directly into the vein of the national discourse, setting the stage for a showdown that no one anticipated. Karoline Leavitt's fiery response to Tom Hanks' SNL skit was not just another tweet lost in the chaos of the internet. It was a calculated move, designed to resonate with her base and amplify her voice in the crowded political landscape. Within hours, her video response had gone viral, shared across platforms and debated in the comments sections of major news outlets. In the video, Karoline stood against a backdrop of the American flag, her tone passionate and her words sharp. Last night, we witnessed a display of sheer disrespect not just to the MAGA movement, but to millions of Americans who believe in their country, she declared, her voice steady and commanding. It's easy to sit in a studio in New York City and mock the heartland, but it takes courage to stand up for what's right. The video struck a chord. Supporters rallied around her, praising her for standing up to what they saw as Hollywood's liberal elite. Detractors, on the other hand, criticized her for overreacting and polarizing the issue further. But regardless of the stance, everyone was talking about Karoline Leavitt. Meanwhile, Tom Hanks, caught off guard by the intensity of the backlash, found himself at the center of a storm he had not anticipated. Known for his generally uncontroversial public persona, the actor was unprepared for the fervor his performance had ignited. His publicist issued a statement explaining the intent behind the skit, satire, meant to provoke thought and laughter, not division. As the debate raged online and in the media, talk shows and political analysts dissected the incident, each offering their own take. Some accused SNL of going too far in its portrayal, potentially alienating viewers in an already divided country. Others defended the show's freedom to satirize and critique, highlighting the importance of comedy in challenging times. Karoline, sensing the momentum, doubled down. She made appearances on several major news networks, articulating her views with a blend of charisma and assertiveness that had become her trademark. Each appearance only served to elevate her profile, turning her into a symbol of a movement that felt misunderstood and mocked by mainstream culture. The fallout from the SNL skit and Karoline Leavitt's viral response had turned into a full-blown national conversation. Media outlets from every spectrum of political belief analyzed and reanalyzed the incident, each drawing their own conclusions and fueling the fiery debate that had enveloped the country. In Washington, D.C., politicians weighed in. Some called for a reassessment of the boundaries of satire in political discourse, while others defended the freedom of expression, arguing that comedy should be unfettered, a true testament to the American value of free speech. The debate reached the halls of Congress, with proposed discussions about the role of media and entertainment in shaping political perspectives. Karoline Leavitt, now a familiar face on television screens across the nation, was invited to speak at a series of high-profile events. Her message was clear and consistent: the need for respect in political discourse and the importance of understanding the real America, a theme that resonated with many who felt overlooked by the coastal elites. Back in New York, Tom Hanks attended a well-publicized panel about the role of art and satire in society. He spoke eloquently about the artist's responsibility to reflect society, even its more uncomfortable truths. "Satire is a mirror," Hanks said. "Sometimes you look in it and laugh, and sometimes you look and cringe, but the reflection is important." The panel also discussed the broader implications of the incident, touching on the deep divisions in American society and the role of artists and entertainers in bridging these divides or deepening them. The conversation was nuanced, with many in the audience appreciating Hanks' thoughtful approach to the controversy. Amidst this, Karoline's following grew exponentially. Her ability to articulate the frustrations of many Americans catapulted her to the forefront of a movement that was more than just political. It was cultural. She began working on a book detailing her experiences and the lessons she believed America should learn from the SNL saga. As the weeks turned into months, the initial furor over the SNL skit and Karoline Leavitt's response began to settle into a deeper reflection on the state of American politics and culture. The incident had exposed raw nerves and sparked a necessary dialogue about the intersection of entertainment, politics, and public sentiment. Karoline continued to leverage her newfound fame, touring the country with speeches that touched on themes of respect, understanding, and the reclaiming of American values. Her book, Heartland's Voice, was released to significant interest, becoming a bestseller as it resonated with many who felt their voices were often drowned out in mainstream discourse. Meanwhile, Tom Hanks took a step back from the limelight to focus on his next project, a documentary series exploring the various political landscapes across America. His goal was to bring to the forefront the stories of everyday Americans from all walks of life, to showcase the diversity of thought and lifestyle that constituted the real fabric of the nation. The documentary was well received, praised for its earnest attempt to bridge understanding and foster dialogue. Hanks' respectful and curious approach won him accolades and helped soften some of the criticism he had faced from the SNL skit. In the media, the discourse shifted slightly. Networks and newsrooms began to evaluate their roles in perpetuating division, with some channels instituting new policies aimed at more balanced and nuanced reporting. The industry's introspection was mirrored in academic circles and public forums, where discussions on media ethics and responsibility became more frequent. As the anniversary of the SNL skit approached, a major network organized a televised debate featuring Karoline Leavitt and other prominent figures from various political and cultural backgrounds. The debate was intense yet respectful, with Karoline articulating her points about media bias and the cultural divide, while others argued for the necessity of challenging all sides through satire and critique. The televised debate marked a pivotal moment in the ongoing national conversation initiated by the SNL skit and Karoline Leavitt's fiery response. It served as a catalyst for a broader discussion about unity and the role each individual and institution plays in healing the nation's divides. The discourse, while still fraught with disagreements, had evolved into a more constructive examination of how to move forward together. Karoline Leavitt, now a prominent figure in political and cultural discussions, used her platform to launch a series of initiatives aimed at fostering dialogue and understanding between diverse communities. She organized town halls and workshops that brought together people from different political backgrounds to share their views and learn from each other in a structured, respectful environment. Tom Hanks, inspired by the success of his documentary series, continued his exploration of America's rich tapestry. His work, focused on storytelling and empathy, highlighted the commonalities that bound people together despite their differences. His efforts were complemented by a new foundation he helped establish, dedicated to funding projects that promoted civic education and engagement. On the media front, the incident had a lasting impact. News organizations started to implement changes, focusing more on in-depth reporting and less on sensationalism. Programs that promoted bipartisan discussions became more popular, reflecting a public appetite for more substantial and less divisive content. The cultural shift was gradual but noticeable. Schools and universities began to incorporate media literacy into their curriculums, empowering students to critically evaluate information. Public service campaigns encouraged citizens to engage with their communities, promoting civic responsibility and participation as antidotes to polarization. As the nation approached the next electoral cycle, the lessons learned from the SNL incident were evident in the more tempered tone of the campaigns. Candidates were more cautious about alienating potential voters with overly divisive rhetoric, and there was a noticeable increase in efforts to reach across the aisle. Karoline Leavitt's closing speech at a national unity conference encapsulated the journey. We've been reminded of the power of words and images, and the responsibility that comes with that power. As we look to the future, let us build on the dialogue we've started, bridging our divides with understanding and respect. Let's make our diversity our strength. The SNL skit, once a source of contention, had transformed into a symbol of the potential for growth and understanding in American society. It reminded everyone that while satire could divide, it could also provoke meaningful conversations that lead to a more united community.